Welcome everyone. You might ask yourself if you should summon this week's heroes, Vorn and Nerissa. Well, to figure it out, it's always worth to look at their abilities and see where they can bolster your dungeon teams, or we can take a much quicker route and look at the world rankings for each different dungeon. If these heroes appear in all teams all the time, it means they are meta heroes and must be superior to other heroes in these dungeons for a reason. So, before we look at abilities of Nerissa and Vorn, let's have a look at Drake Chasm, Abyss 1 and Titanic Ruins, Apocalypse 2. When we look at the world rankings for Abyss 1, we see that Nerissa and Vorn appear in almost all teams. This already tells us that their abilities are incredibly useful here and that they are worth a summon to bolster our hero roster. This impression is further strengthened when we look at Titanic Ruins. Here we see Vorn is still in almost every team, which means he must be a strong hero overall, with a toolkit that can be used in many dungeons. Nerissa, on the other hand, appears in fewer teams, but we still see her regularly. This means she is not a must-have pick for Titanic Ruins, but she still seems to be an overall strong choice and is mandatory for Abyss 1. Now let's have a look at abilities of Vorn and Nerissa to see what makes them so special, and let's start with Vorn. Vorn is a single target magic damage dealer. He deals continuous damage, buffs allies, and dispels enemies. At first glance, Vorn's talent seems to be nothing special. He applies a bunch of poison and gets more attack from it. But with a closer look, the poison is actually a key reason he is such a good pick. The poison he applies scales extremely well with Nestia's acute poisoning, which increases all poison damage, as well as the toxic surge damage from Numera. This is why you often see them together. They scale with each other so well that they found a poison meta. So damage-wise, Vorn is a already good summon for this combo. While his basic attack is nothing special, his ultimate comes with a Dispel, which is a must-have ability in Titanic Ruins, to remove hardening stacks during the Aegis mode phase. His next ability, Flash Warp, offers nothing special, but the last one is extremely important. He deals increased damage to shielded target and applies Shield Break to friendly fighter units, which lets them deal 30% increased damage against shields. This ability makes him an incredible strong must pick for breaking the boss's shield. So, Vorn is definitely a must-have for current dungeons and the poison meta. You should definitely try to summon him if you have enough diamonds. The other hero with an increased 20 times chance in the upcoming summon event is Nerissa. Nerissa is a single target healer who buffs allies, protects her team, and provides defensive dispels. Let's look at her ability to figure out what makes her so strong. Her talent description says that she applies Abyssal Favor to one allied hero with the highest attack. Each single target heal grants her 1 point of Black Pearls, and she also heals one allied unit in range. The description for Black Pearls is a bit confusing, but Abyssal Favor is one of the reasons why she is so good. The Bira gains 20% inspiration, which is always a strong buff. The Bira also recovers a percentage of their HP when taking damage. With the ability to buff inspiration, Nerissa is already a major plus for every team. Her basic attacks apply attack-based healing, so nothing special. Her ultimate is another very good utility ability. When she casts it, she dispels all debuffs from allies in her basic attack range and around the target of her Abyssal Favor buff. For example, her ultimate can be used to dispel Acidic Venom in Titanic Ruins. If not dispelled, the effect is permanent and at some point the damage is overwhelming. The other part of her ultimate is a bit confusing. It says each basic attack now deals 10% magic damage, 30 times to the enemy with the lowest HP in range. The damage is also increased to targets with shields by 20%. Here I was asking myself if her or all basic attacks are meant, cause if this only applies to her, this feels underwhelming. From watching other videos I figured out that she shots some shots at her target, but her damage is negligible. Her next ability is what makes her so strong in Abyss 1. Also, this makes her a great pick in Gear Rate 2 against the Shriek ability of the boss. As you can see, she is also recommended for this dungeon. The Siren Song reduces all AoE damage taken by 20% for all allies in her basic attack range, and within 1 tile of the Abyssal Favor Bira. Additionally, this ability has a death save. When a target drops below 100% HP, it receives a heal with a 30% healing multiplier. This effect can be triggered once every 7 seconds, for each target. I learned from talking to other players that AoE damage reduction is a must-have in Abyss Vorn, otherwise the damage is too high to handle. This ability makes her a must-have for Abyss Vorn. Her last ability, Dark Onslaught, doesn't provide any special utility for the fight, so I'll skip it. With Nerissa covered, let's summarize the next summoning event. With Vorn and Nerissa, we have two extremely useful and strong meta picks. Unless you already have them awakened, it is definitely recommended to try and summon them, while they have a 20 times increased summon rate. So my recommendation for the upcoming summoning event is to summon them if you can afford it. If this information was helpful, consider to like and subscribe, and most of all, have a nice day.